What's up, y'all? Dre here, Blockchain Yogi, part 2 of this video series on why I'm holding mostly Bitcoin and why I think holding Bitcoin is one of the best decisions for your financial journey, or at least personally in my own financial journey. So what I do for work mainly is I do day trading, swing trading, pretty much things like the stock market. So I trade stocks and option contracts, which is a whole nother discussion, but that's what I do. And I also do things such as high paid market research. So those are the things that I do. And that being said, those two things are online. And I have, experience with holding stocks short term, getting those short term gains, as well as holding stocks for the long term gain. But it dawned upon me is, when I'm trading these stocks, I find oftentimes that there's always a series where a particular company will have earning seasons, and depending on how profitable the company is, it can go up or down. Sometimes the company can have high earnings and high revenue, and the market reaction to that can be negative because of guidance. So either way, oftentimes that either they have good news or bad news, it doesn't really matter. It just depends how the market reacts to that. Or, if a CEO says something silly, how some CEOs, such as, the CEO of Tesla, can say something silly on Twitter or X and make the reaction of the stock go up or down in a given manner. And so besides that, there's also the idea of how, there's many companies out there where I feel they aren't as, beneficial to society. And, they may produce good products. They may produce, helpful things that may help society in a, let's say, a financial or fiscal manner, or they may make life a little bit easier, such as having a cell phone, like the iPhone, for instance. It makes life easier because you have your calculator on there. You can call someone on there. You can research things on there. You can do a multitude of things just by having a smartphone. However, sometimes that comes at a cost. One, opportunity cost. Opportunity where, an iPhone can cost well over $1,000, right? So that's expensive. If you were to use that $1,000 and let's say you put it into the S&P 500, that $1,000 will grow over time and compound. Now, if you did the same thing, such as hard money or sound money, such as Bitcoin or even gold, you can compound those gains that you would have spent on a very expensive smartphone, much bigger, much deeper. So we have that. We have the opportunity cost. So there's a lot of companies that we benefit from and they help us, and there's a lot of other companies that do a lot of bad. So it's like a catch-22. Take some of the companies that offer a lot of these these vaccines during the epidemic or the pandemic, where they offered a lot of solutions and helping people with their their illness during the time of 2020. Sometimes YouTube will censor certain things that I might say, so I'm just going to say 2020 pandemic. And so some companies like Pfizer or Moderna or many other companies out there, they help in a lot of cases with the illness or the virus that was going on. But in a lot of other cases, it comes at a cost of profit. And we've seen recently that there's many people who may have suffered greatly just because of a result of the vaccines. But not all the time. Correlation doesn't necessarily produce the result of causation. So just because something has a correlation doesn't mean exactly it's the cause of said correlation. Just because someone gets a vaccine doesn't mean that that's why they got sick. So you also have to keep that in mind. But besides the point, there's companies out there who all they want is profit. All they want is to produce as much product, increase their supply on certain things, and push out their product, push out their agenda, just so we can buy. Even if it costs someone's life, even, like physically, like, their physical life, like actually cause, damage to their physical health and life, or at a cost of, say, their mental health, or as a result of their time and attention, which is the scarcest asset out there. Time is even scarcer than Bitcoin, it's scarcer than gold, it's scarcer than any other commodity or any stock or security out there. Time is very important. So sometimes these companies will, if they don't take our our money, or through our labor, then they'll take our time and attention. And that often is, say, social media. We got companies like Meta, they got companies like Instagram, which is Meta, which is under the umbrella of Meta, Snapchat, TikTok, all of these companies, YouTube. Even YouTube is a platform that takes our attention a lot of the time. So we have to navigate this system. And in my opinion, I think navigating the perplexities of life often correlate to trying to find your lane. And my lane is try to have simple living, simple ways in which I can live a fulfilling life. And oftentimes to do that is with making sure that I'm in the soundest currency out there, or soundest money out there, which I believe is Bitcoin. Being with the soundest relationships with friends and family, letting go of any negativity, people that no longer serve me, just so many, there's so much negative people out there. Sometimes you just have to get away from that. If you want to succeed, if you want to get to the next level in your own personal development, it's not all about climbing a ladder. It's not all about getting ahead of someone, but sometimes it's just simply being a better version of yourself and accomplishing your goals, accomplishing the things that you want to. And oftentimes, if you're surrounded by negativity, in the company of those who put you down, or just not elevating at the level or the heights that you want to, sometimes you have to leave. So, sound money, Bitcoin, sound friendships, is very important. And so, simple living, this is really helpful in the direction I want to take my life. And Bitcoin offers that for me. Bitcoin offers a simple solution to my finances, a simple solution to my time, to my energy, to my energetic power. Bitcoin is a solution to all of those problems. Now, obviously, Bitcoin is not going to solve all my problems. It's not going to help my mental health. It's not going to help my, my physical health. I can't own Bitcoin and it's going to help me lose weight. I can't own Bitcoin and it's going to make me a billionaire in fiat currency manners. But it's going to offer a lot of helpful solutions for me. One, it's permissionless, so I don't have to ask permission to the bank or to any other person if I want to send money to someone. I don't have to ask anyone if I want to, say, take out a loan against my own currency or my own money. I don't have to ask permission. All I have to do is acknowledge the tech and use the tech, and it's going to offer me those benefits. Medium of exchange, sending my money, my Bitcoin to someone across, the overseas. It's going to offer that technology for me. It's also going to offer a piece, a very keen, sovereignty, which is very important. Many people don't have sovereignty when it comes to fiat currencies, because the bank can take your money at any point in time. The credit union, no matter, or even your parents sometimes, parents or your spouse, sometimes they can take those things. But sovereignty is what Bitcoin is all about. And it makes you feel good that you have this sovereignty, because, you own the keys. As long as you own Bitcoin and it's in your wallet, you're like a cold storage wallet, you own the keys to it, you have a seed phrase, you own that. No one can take it away from you. You know, no one can withdraw. You know, if it's like your bank, you know, they can withdraw your money anytime if you're not following the rules, or they can charge you extra fees if you're not following the rules. You know, banks, you got overdraft fees, you got, you know, international transfer fees, you got, you know, you have to let them know, say if you're traveling and, you know, you have a transaction. Obviously, you know, safety measures in place. You know, if someone's swiping your card, if you're living in the United States, but someone's swiping your card from Japan, you know, obviously there's security measures in place, and you're wondering why your bank is like, hey, aren't you in, you know, California or Ohio or wherever you're at? Aren't you there? Someone's swiping your card in Japan. So obviously there's safety measures in place, but I like the idea that if I want to go travel anonymously, I can do that with Bitcoin, with this technology, because it's permissionless. I don't have to call my bank or anyone else to say, hey, I want to use this money to purchase a product, you know, help support a local shop, or say if I want to withdraw money or transfer money or do anything in that manner. I don't have to call my bank and say I'm traveling overseas. Sometimes I don't want them to know that I'm traveling. I don't want anyone to know that I'm traveling besides the people that I love and care about. And maybe even, you know, my followers or people who are, you know, joining today. That, hey, I might want to go to Costa Rica and spend time there because I want to share that. But I may not want to share my, you know, that to my bank. So I like the fact that I have this sovereignty, I have this peace of mind, I have this blissfulness that I can use Bitcoin as a source of power, control of my own financial journey, control of my own financial independence. And this is what Bitcoin offers. Another reason why I want to use Bitcoin over the dollar is because the fiat currency is inflationary. Why would I want to own something, hold something in the bank account for long terms to come when the fiat currency is inflationary? We lose purchasing power 2% every single year, 2% or higher every single year. So our groceries are going to get 2% higher, or you know, our rent is going to get 2% higher. You see this. Say if you rent somewhere, you stay for a year, right? And then the next year, if you were to increase your rent, or if you were to stay another year, they say, hey, okay, you can stay even though you've been here with a year. You're paid all your time for a whole year. We're going to increase the rent for the next go round. That makes zero sense to me, right? You remember back then where $100 worth of groceries can give you a full-blown cart full of groceries. Now, if you go to a store with $100, you may not even have 10 items worth, especially if you go somewhere like Whole Foods, which I often go to sometimes. And $100 at Whole Foods is not going to get you anything. You get some kombucha, you get some, you know, some chips or any other product there, your $100 is gone. And that's going to increase over time. Food, say something like, say, cost of eggs, or, you know, or even a cost of milk or any other thing. Say currently it's worth $8. In the future, in the next 5 years, that thing is going to be $20, and it's going to be normal to us. It's going to be ridiculous because we're going to be like, wow, I can't believe this is $20. This is ridiculous. But how much the fiat currency is going to debase, how much it's going to inflate, that $20 milk is going to be the norm. But Bitcoin is just going to increase in value over time. It's going to hold as a store of value. It's going to hold as a permissionless technological spear of financial independence and financial tool that's going to help myself and many owners of Bitcoin out now and into the near future. It grows in value over time, year after year. Did you know that compounded each and every year, Bitcoin has grossed over 152% within the span of Bitcoin? 152% compound. That beats inflation. That beats, you know, taxation. That beats the inflationary measures of my time with work. Like in my part 1 video, I explained how oftentimes when we spend time working, at a job or 9 to 5 or entrepreneurial work, whatever work that you do, there's energy involved into doing that. And so you have to account for that energy. You're not going, that's why people, who work at the same job, right? Some people work at the same job, have the same job title. One person may make $20 an hour while another person works $15 an hour. They're still working the same hours, but one person makes more and the other person who makes less, even if they have the same experience, they're complaining because they're like, hey, I'm using the same time and energy, but I'm making less. Why not make more? And so this same scenario works out and plays out when we're thinking about life and how we're using our energy. Energy is a commodity. Energy is time. Time is a commodity. Time and energy together is a commodity. And when we're working and using our attention and using our energy, we want to be compensated either through health. Say you work out, you spend time working out, it's energetically moving. Chi moves through our blood, and chi and blood moves through everything. Our vascular system is pumping, all of these different things. So, ATP is going through. There's so many physiological processes through the act of exercising or staying active. So the same, when we put that input, moving our muscles, output comes where, we have better vascularization, we have better circulation, we have more muscle mass, muscle tone. So it's the same thing with finances. Usually once we work more, we should make more, but oftentimes that's not the case. But with Bitcoin, the more work that it does, the more proof of work, the more energetic power, the more nodes, the more computers come together and use the protocol, the more people, there's supply and demand. The more demand that comes into it, the more output that comes from it, which is more value for you financially and more value for you mentally, because you have that peace of mind knowing that you're owning the hardest asset in the world that no one can take. No government entity can take from you. No bank can take from you. No person can take from you. Only you decide where you want to use this Bitcoin. And that's the most beautiful thing. And this is why I choose to hold Bitcoin. This is why using 90% of my wealth, I sold all my stocks, my Roth IRA, everything, to buy Bitcoin. Because I believe, why not hold the hardest money, the most sound money out there? There's only 21 million supply. Why not hold this versus, say, the S&P 500, when I have to deal with all these companies out there, whose child labor, all of these different things that companies do just to make a profit. I'm pretty much allowing my money and my power, pour my money into these companies, hoping that they do the better thing for life, the better thing for society. But oftentimes that's not the case. But with Bitcoin, I know that this technology is there, and it's all about supply and demand. I am going to pour money into it. Someone else is going to pour money into it because they believe that it's valuable, and it is valuable. It's a store of value. It's permissionless. It's pseudo-anonymous. It's an energetic sphere of a fiscal power. I don't know. I'm just putting words together just to show how beautiful this energy, this technology is for the people. So just having stocks, it's a beautiful thing to do. Who knows? I may come to a point where, as I own a lot of Bitcoin, that I may go back into investing into index funds, or if there's a specific company that I value and want to put my money in, I would do that. But for right now, and at least long term to come for myself and my family, I think Bitcoin is the best option for financial future and for the peace of mind. It's a global thing. When you're investing, say, into the stock market, oftentimes, there is a world index, right? You can invest into, or specific companies you can invest into, but it's not going to benefit society as much as, say, Bitcoin would. someone in Africa, someone in, someone in Nigeria within Africa can use this technology to benefit themselves, just as someone who lives in Ohio can also benefit from the technology, just as someone in Antarctica, as long as they have a connection, even offline, you can have connection to Bitcoin and transfer wealth, either $1 billion to someone or $1 to someone. You can transfer that wealth. You can make medium of exchanges. You can build on top of Bitcoin. You can do so many different things within Bitcoin technology. So I believe it's the best thing for my future. I think it's really important to hold as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. And in my opinion, I think at least holding, 1 million Satoshis is very important, or at least 100,000 Satoshis, that can equate to about 0.001 Bitcoin or 0.01 Bitcoin, that'll put you, if you own 0.001 Bitcoin, they'll put you in the top 45% or the top 43% of all Bitcoin holders in the world. That means you own 43% of the wealth power within this technology, and it's just beneficial. Like, why not? Why not own this power of wealth where hedge fund, institutions, banks, all these companies are trying to own as much Bitcoin because they see the value in it. They see, there's game theory coming. When one company is doing something and it's benefiting them, like MicroStrategy, everyone see that. It's game theory. Everyone wants to participate, and no one wants to get left behind. Some people are getting left behind. We have Vanguard, who's not really taking a hold. Vanguard needs to catch up. We have Fidelity and BlackRock. They're moving steadily. We've seen Wells Fargo and Chase Bank. Just recently, we've seen that Bitcoin is in their custody, and they're investing into Bitcoin. So you'll see, we got Square as a company, or Square Block. You see that as a company is owning more and more Bitcoin, and I'm sure more and more companies will do the same. Tesla will probably own more, and maybe even Vanguard as an institution, they'll probably start owning more. And any other banks, at the bigger banks and even the regional banks, if they're allowed, they're going to be owning Bitcoin ETFs, so they can hold this and offer it to their potential clients, because they don't want to miss the party. They know that this is the soundest money ever out there. There's only 21 million supply. The best sound asset is that which can't be inflated. The best sound asset is that in which it cannot be inflated. Gold can be inflated by mining more gold. Silver can be inflated by mining more silver. Fiat can be inflated by printing more fiat. Bitcoin can't be inflated because you can't create more Bitcoin.